Two men walk into the same bank asking for the same $1 million loan. Neither has collateral, neither has proof. But watch what happens next. The first man explains desperately why he needs the money, shows his detailed projections, practically begs for a chance. He leaves empty-handed. The second man sits down, looks the banker in the eye, and says, "I'm here to discuss which of your loan packages makes the most sense for my expansion." 15 minutes later, he's approved. The banker couldn't even explain why. Something about him just felt inevitable. Like the success had already happened and they were just handling paperwork. That man understood what I'm about to tell you. A secret so powerful that Niccolò Machiavelli hid it in plain sight 500 years ago, knowing most people would be too frightened to use it. Right now, someone with half your talent is living your dream life. They're running the company you should be running, dating the person you think is out of your league, banking the money you deserve. And the thing that's going to make you sick? They're not smarter, they're not luckier, they're not more connected. They just learned how to hack reality by acting like they had already won before the game even started. And while you were waiting for permission, they were taking position. I know what you're thinking. That's delusional, that's fake, that's everything I've been taught not to do. Good. Because everything you've been taught is why you're still watching from the sidelines while inferior people play your position. Your humility hasn't made you virtuous. It's made you invisible. Your patience hasn't made you wise. It's made you forgotten. Your waiting for the right moment hasn't made you prepared. It's made you irrelevant. Listen to what's really happening here. Every day you walk into situations already defeated. Your body language screams uncertainty before you speak. Your voice carries apology in its tone. Your eyes seek approval instead of giving it. You've become so good at being humble that you've forgotten how to be powerful, so practiced at being patient that you've lost the ability to seize, so comfortable being overlooked that being seen terrifies you. Machiavelli watched men rise and fall in the deadliest courts of Renaissance Italy. One wrong word meant exile. One confident gesture meant fortune. And in that brutal laboratory of power, he discovered something that changed everything. The universe doesn't reward those who deserve victory. It rewards those who assume it, not hope for it, not work toward it, not wait for it. Assume it with such conviction that reality reorganizes itself to match their assumption. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. But here's what Machiavelli knew that you don't. What you appear to be becomes what you really are. When you act like you've already won consistently enough, you stop acting and start being. The performance becomes personality. The assumption becomes achievement. The pretense becomes presence. Think about this for a second. Every morning, you wake up and put on an identity. The clothes you choose, the way you speak, the energy you carry, all of it announces to the world who you think you are. And the world, it simply agrees with you. If you announce you're someone still struggling, still climbing, still hoping, the world treats you accordingly. But if you announce you're someone who's already arrived, the world adjusts its behavior to match your signal. You've felt this power before, but you didn't recognize it. Remember that time you walked into a situation absolutely certain of success? Maybe someone important had just validated you. Maybe you just closed a big deal. Maybe you were just having one of those days where everything clicked. Remember how differently people responded to you? How obstacles seemed to dissolve? How opportunities appeared from nowhere? That wasn't coincidence. That was you accidentally accessing the frequency of victory. The tragedy is, you thought you needed a reason to feel that way. Here's what's actually happening in every interaction, every opportunity, every moment of your life. Reality is being negotiated, not fixed, not predetermined, negotiated, and the most confident negotiator wins. While you're asking, am I good enough? Others are declaring, I'm perfect for this. While you're thinking, maybe someday, others are saying, my time is now. And reality believes whoever's most convinced. But you've been trained to wait, trained to be humble, trained to let your work speak for itself. Meanwhile, the person who just stole your promotion can barely do the work, but they speak fluently in the language of assumed success. They walk into rooms like the decision's already made. They talk about their ideas like they're already implemented. They shake hands like they're doing you a favor. And everyone, including you, reorganizes around their certainty. Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities. Listen to what Machiavelli's really saying. People don't have time to evaluate your true worth. They take shortcuts. They respond to immediate signals. And the strongest signal you can send? Acting like the outcome is already decided in your favor, not arrogantly, not aggressively, just with the calm certainty of someone who knows something everyone else is about to find out. This isn't positive thinking. This isn't visualization. This isn't some mystical law of attraction. This is behavioral psychology at its most practical. When you act like you've won, you make different choices, you see different opportunities, you take different risks. The person expecting victory plays to win. The person hoping to avoid defeat plays not to lose. Guess which strategy actually works? Watch a poker player with a winning hand versus one who's bluffing. The winner is relaxed, almost bored. They've already calculated the outcome. The bluffer is tense, trying too hard, overselling. But here's the twist. In life, when you act like the winner long enough, you stop bluffing and start becoming. Your assumed victory creates the very conditions that make victory probable. Think about every successful person you know. Really think about them. Did they wait until they were qualified to act qualified? Did they wait until they were successful to act successful? Or did they claim their space before they had earned it? Speak with authority before they had it? Make decisions from positions they didn't yet hold? They weren't frauds. They were architects of their own reality. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. You need both energies, the strategic mind that understands the game and the bold presence that plays it without apology. But look at yourself. You're neither lion nor fox. You're prey, hoping to go unnoticed, praying the system will eventually reward your patience. But the system doesn't reward patience. It rewards presence. The lion energy is your projection of strength. It's how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you occupy space. It's the unshakable confidence that makes others think twice before challenging you. The fox energy is your strategic thinking. It's understanding that perception shapes reality, that confidence is currency, that assumed victory creates actual advantage. Most people have neither. They're rabbits, fearful, reactive, hoping to survive rather than thrive. Here's the part that's going to sting. Your modesty isn't moral superiority. It's fear with a marketing degree. You've convinced yourself that playing small is playing smart, that waiting your turn is playing fair, that not threatening others makes you likable. But all it really makes you is forgettable, because people don't remember the humble, they remember the undeniable. Every time you downplay your achievements, you train others to value you less. Every time you caveat your expertise, you invite doubt. Every time you wait for someone else to recognize your worth, you broadcast that you don't recognize it yourself. And the world is an echo chamber. It reflects back exactly what you project. Project uncertainty. Receive dismissal. Project victory. Receive opportunity. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. But the deception isn't on others. It's on yourself. It's convincing yourself you're capable of victory before the evidence exists. Because once you truly believe it, it stops being deception and becomes prophecy. You're not lying about success. You're trying on the identity until it fits. You're not faking confidence. You're installing it through repetition. Watch what happens to elite athletes before competition. They don't hope to win. They visualize having already won. They feel the medal around their neck, hear the anthem playing, taste the champagne. Not because they're delusional, but because the body doesn't know the difference between intensely imagined victory and actual victory. The neurological pattern is identical. The confidence is real, The performance follows. But you resist this. Something in you cringes at assuming success you haven't earned. That cringe, that's your conditioning. That's years of being told pride comes before a fall. Years of watching bold people get called arrogant. Years of confusing confidence with conceit. You've internalized limitation as wisdom, accepted timidity as virtue, mistaken invisibility for integrity. Let me tell you what's really happening when someone acts like they have already won. They're not being delusional, they're being strategic. They understand that confidence is contagious, that certainty creates followers, that assumed authority becomes actual authority through the simple mechanism of human psychology. People want to follow winners. They want to attach themselves to rising stars. When you act like victory is inevitable, others start believing it too. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But Machiavelli wasn't talking about terror. He was talking about respect. When you act like you've already won, you create productive fear. The fear of missing out on your rise. The fear of being left behind by your momentum. The fear of opposing someone whose success seems inevitable. This isn't intimidation. It's inspiration that makes people nervous. The prince who begs for loyalty gets betrayed. The prince who assumes loyalty often receives it genuinely, not because people are weak, but because humans organize themselves around certainty. We attach ourselves to those who seem to know where they're going. We invest in those who seem destined to succeed. When you act like you've already won, you become a self-fulfilling prophecy that others want to be part of. Think about how you approach opportunities right now. You probably prepare extensively, doubt yourself anyway, present tentatively, and hope for the best. You're playing not to lose rather than playing to win. You're so focused on avoiding rejection that you guarantee mediocrity. But what if you flipped the script? What if you approached every opportunity like it was already yours? Listen to the language of losers. If I get lucky, hopefully things work out. Maybe someday. Now, listen to the language of winners. When I close this deal, after my promotion, once my company goes public, they're not predicting the future. They're creating it through linguistic programming. Every word is a vote for a particular reality. What reality are you voting for? Your language shapes your reality more than you realize. When you speak in possibilities, you create doubt. When you speak in certainties, you create confidence. Not just in others, in yourself. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's repeatedly affirmed. Tell yourself you're hoping to succeed, and you'll act hopefully. Tell yourself you're going to succeed, and you'll act decisively. Politics have no relation to morals. This offends you because you want to believe good things happen to good people. But look who actually wins. The ethical genius who waits to be recognized, or the confident mediocrity who acts like recognition is overdue. Machiavelli wasn't endorsing evil. He was observing that the game has rules, and moral superiority isn't one of them. The world isn't a meritocracy. It never has been. It's a confidence game where the most certain player usually wins. This isn't cynicism. It's reality. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you can start playing by the actual rules rather than the imaginary ones you wish existed. Fair doesn't factor into the equation. Confidence does. Here's what actually happens when you start acting like you've won. First, internal resistance. Every cell in your body screams that you're being fake, arrogant, delusional. Then, external confusion. People start treating you differently, including you in conversations you weren't invited to, deferring to your opinion without knowing why. Then, evidence accumulation. Opportunities appear, doors open. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Not because you became more qualified, but because you became more certain. The transformation follows a predictable pattern. Week 1, you feel like a fraud. Week 2, you notice people responding differently. Week 3, you start believing your own performance. Week 4, it stops being performance. By month 2, you can't remember feeling any other way. By month 6, success seems inevitable because you've created so much momentum through assumed victory. Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved. But the highest level isn't being feared or loved, it's being assumed. When people assume your success, they don't test you. Don't question your authority. Simply accept your position and organize accordingly. This is efficiency. Power that doesn't need demonstration because its existence is presumed. You've seen this your whole life without understanding it. The C student who becomes CEO while the valedictorian manages spreadsheets. The average-looking person who dates models while the attractive one stays single. The underfunded startup that dominates while the venture-backed one fails. It was never about merit. It was about assumption. They assume victory while others hope for it. He who is highly esteemed is not easily conspired against. Your confidence becomes armor. When you carry yourself as already successful, attacks become expensive. Opponents hesitate, wondering what you know that they don't, what resources you have, what protection you enjoy. Your assumed victory creates a force field that deflects most challenges before they materialize. But this isn't about visualization or affirmations. This is about behavioral installation. You don't think your way to victory, you act your way there. Every time you walk into a room like you own it, you're training your nervous system. Every time you speak with certainty, you're rewiring your patterns. Every time you make decisions from assumed strength, you're building actual strength. The practical application starts now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now. With your next interaction, your next decision, your next breath. Start moving through the world like someone who's already accomplished everything you're working toward, not in celebration, in certainty, not in arrogance, in assumption, not in hope, in knowledge. Walk differently, slower, more deliberately. Winners don't rush. They have nowhere more important to be. Speak differently, lower, more measured. Winners don't fill silence with nervous chatter. They let their presence speak. Decide differently. Faster, more finally. Winners don't agonize over choices. They make them and move forward. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The fool waits for success to feel successful. The wise man feels successful to create success. The fool needs evidence before believing. The wise man believes and manufactures evidence. The fool waits to be chosen. The wise man chooses himself and makes it stick. Look at every empire ever built, every fortune ever made, every innovation ever launched. They all started the same way, with someone acting like their vision was inevitable before anyone else could see it. They didn't wait for permission, validation, or proof. They assumed victory and maintained that assumption until reality surrendered. Steve Jobs didn't wait until Apple was successful to act like a visionary. He acted like a visionary until Apple became successful. Muhammad Ali didn't wait until he was champion to declare he was the greatest. He declared it until it became true. Every breakthrough began with someone assuming an outcome that seemed impossible to everyone else. It must be remembered that there is nothing more difficult to plan, more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to manage than a new system. The new system isn't external, it's internal. It's the revolutionary act of assuming victory before earning it, of acting from strength before possessing it, of embodying success before achieving it. But here's what makes this truly dangerous. It works. And once you see it work, once you taste the power of assumed victory, you can never go back to hoping and waiting. You become addicted to the feeling of creating reality through conviction. You become intolerant of your own hesitation. You become allergic to asking permission. So, here's your choice. Keep acting like someone hoping to win someday, or start acting like someone who's already won. Keep signaling uncertainty while praying for certainty, or signal certainty while building it. Keep waiting for reality to choose you, or choose yourself so completely that reality has no choice but to agree. The throne isn't guarded, the crown isn't locked away. The victory you're seeking isn't in the future. It's in your next action, your next word, your next assumption. Power isn't inherited or earned or granted. It's taken by those bold enough to act like it's already theirs. Tomorrow you'll wake up the same person unless you choose differently. Unless you decide that starting now, you're going to act like you've already won, not fake it, not pretend, but truly embody the energy of someone for whom success is not a question, but a conclusion. Because that's the ultimate secret Machiavelli discovered. Reality is more malleable than you think. It responds to conviction more than truth, organizes around certainty more than fairness, rewards assumption more than patience. And those who understand this don't wait for victory. They wear it like armor until it becomes skin. The game is happening. The clock is running. The opportunities are flowing to whoever assumes they deserve them. Every second you hesitate, someone with half your talent but twice your audacity is claiming what could be yours. What are you waiting for? The perfect moment won't announce itself. Permission won't arrive. Validation won't come until after you've validated yourself. There's only this moment and who you choose to be in it. Act like you've already won. Not eventually, not probably, but right now, with your next breath, your next step, your next choice. Because in the end, that's the only difference between those who win and those who watch. The audacity to assume victory before anyone grants it. The future belongs to whoever claims it first.